Hello, my beautiful badgers, Messi Coder back again with Unity's best kept secret, Landscape Builder. It is a procedural, well, it's a landscape builder. It does exactly what it says on the tin. I'm here with SCSM, where we're talking about this amazing kit and also his other kits such as Sticky 3D Controller and the Sci-Fi Ship Controller. So sit back, enjoy, and I'll see you all in a moment. So everyone's sitting at home in front of your Google Watches, your Alexa mirrors, your microwave PCs. Give a warm and messy welcome to Stephen from SCSM. Welcome to the stream, buddy.
Thank you.
What does it stand for?
I have no idea. What, SCSM?
Yeah.
No, it's just our company name. We dreamed it up many years ago. So.
Well, I guessed it was a name. Is that it? It doesn't actually stand for anything.
It depends on what we're doing at the time. So we just change it randomly. So just to keep you guessing.
Oh my word! So it depends on if somebody's guessed the right answer, then you've changed it and it's something else.
Yeah, that's right. So you probably noticed that pretty well all of our products just are initials, like, we abbreviate everything. Hey, but that's the Australian way. Just like, well, why say a name when you don't have to?
Can I ask you why are pretty much most of the Unity terrain people Australians? Is it something in the water? Because I think you're like the fourth or fifth Australian that I've met that's doing either terrain stuff or procedural stuff or funky tools like this.
Well, I would say it's because we're the only ones that are good at it, but that's a lie.
And it could also be fighting words.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, you've been on the store for a long while now, though, haven't you?
Yeah, so we started out in Unity, I think, in about 2013, and then we released our first product, I think, in 2016, something like that. So, I don't know, around 5-6 years, something like that we've been actually published in the store.
And I've just noticed that
if your maths,
I was going to try and do the maths myself, but I gave up.
Yeah, we were supposed to be good at maths, but yeah,
I hope so, because I just saw you've got DOTS and ECS support, so you should be good at maths, though, shouldn't you?
Well, we are, that's with our Sci-Fi Ship Controller product, so which is all physics and maths. So yeah, I guess we're supposed to know something about maths.
Now, have you actually made a game yet yourselves, or are you just making tools?
Yeah, so that's what got us into the tool market, actually. We made a bunch of games when we first started out in Unity. And yeah, they kind of were rubbish, but and we didn't publish some of them as well. Some of them were technically really, well, quite brilliant, to be honest. But when we played them, we went, they're just not fun. Like, who would buy this? Well, like, nobody. So, we have some unpublished games as well. But we got really frustrated by that whole tool process. We bought a few tools and we played with stuff, and the whole backward compatibility or lack of it just drove us insane. We spent weeks just fixing, we'd do an upgrade in Unity. Obviously don't want to say anything about Unity much here, but
that's fine. You won't be the first person. This is a safe place.
Okay, safe place, but we're on the internet. Don't worry, it's private. So yeah, so we got frustrated with spending a long time. We'd upgrade Unity, or we'd have a tool that we relied on, and we'd upgrade the product, upgrade to the latest version, and then we'd spend 2 weeks fixing our game with everything that was broken. So apart from things like, hey, we want to do this, the tool doesn't do that. Oh, we want to. Oh no, that doesn't do that either. Apart from constantly having that, which I guess every game developer has. No matter what tools or whatever they're using, um, or whether even they're relying their own team to build stuff. Backward compatibility became a really big deal for us. And coming from the IT industry, we know that like if it's not backward compatible, you spend your life fixing broken stuff. So and if you've got a game that's just about to be released, or even partway through development, just drove us nuts. So it's really good at what has got us into like landscape builder to begin with. We wanted something that would survive upgrades seamlessly, and we didn't want to waste our time working on that sort of stuff.
Wow, seamlessly. That's a dangerous phrase, isn't it, to use?
I guess so, but I guess what we hear back from our customers, whether they're like little indie, individual indie builders or small studios or whatever, they'll come back and say to us, look, you told us to do this upgrade, we did it, and nothing broke. Like, really? Am I missing something? So we do spend a huge amount of effort trying to make sure our products don't break your games. So,
This is pre you render pipelines, or are you? Should we not talk about those?
Can we just skip over? Unity's kind of. Hey, we're on the right channel. We're on Messy Coder, so hey, maybe this conversation would fit in.
Well, if you
sure
watched
had
last week's with Jason Booth,
haven't done yet.
he pulled out his hair so much he's actually built his own tools to get around Unity's lack of tools to be able to resolve their own problems with all these different pipelines. So I think it's one of those. Even when Unity come on, I've had Unity on the stream once, and they didn't basically make out that there was no problems. Even they admit that they may have dropped a ball or two on this one. So when you've been looking at HDRP, have you thought of it's good enough, we could support it, let's do HDRP, or are you basically going nowhere near that?
So we support the landscape builder. We support lightweight render pipeline. Do you remember that?
Are we allowed to now just call it URP, or was it actually drastically different between the two?
Well, it didn't. Like if you're building like a terrain product, you have to support both. Like if you were going to, like we did, because we started out with lightweight render pipeline, you have to support lightweight render pipeline and URP separately, because they changed the name of everything.
See, I always thought that, like the
It doesn't just magically work.
Wasn't the LW, is it the lightweight one? I thought it just got renamed into the URP, and then the HDRP stayed the same. Is it was the lightweight and the URP actually different? It shows my ignorance.
No. So functionality-wise, lightweight render pipeline and URP are really similar, right? Well, they just renamed it one day and carried on developing, right? But if you're a tool developer, like, how does that happen? It doesn't. Like all the shaders, the terrain shaders and the assets are different names. Well, Unity didn't go, well, in the background, we'll fix it up. No, they went, we've renamed it. So if you're a game developer, you go down and you just choose the other materials and you change change a few things around, and it kind of works between our lightweight and URP. But if you're a tool developer, it doesn't. Everything's broken.
Oh wow!
You actually have to do coding, and that's why like can I share my screen?
Yeah, let me make it big. Hang on.
Do that.
You just need to no inappropriate comments. Okay, yeah. So you're sharing. Let me stick it on
See
the
if
old.
that works.
Alrighty. So, where did my window go? Display. And here we go. Nice and big. Let's make that even
So
bigger.
can you see my screen? I mean,
can.
I can't see what you're seeing. So.
I can. There's nothing inappropriate, so we're safe.
Can you see landscape builder?
I can, and it looks beautiful.
Oh,
with a
okay,
with a image in there. How did you get that? Because do you know what? Since I've started trying to make my own asset, I have more and more respect for people who have edited make their own custom edit windows and inspectors.
We spend so much effort trying to make stuff work between versions in edit. Oh, don't get me started. Anyway, so yeah, like really simple stuff like that. Like, oh look, and you can resize it and it kind of works, right? And you go, well, that's pretty obvious. That just works, right? Well, no, it doesn't. That's like, many hours trying to make the editor actually work and then work between different Unity versions. You kind of go, well, it's just really simple. It's just image on the screen. How can that be hard? And that would be a good question to Unity. Like, why is this so difficult?
But
Anyway.
now they've said that they're not going to support new assets that aren't 2019.4 and above. So
they have this rolling window. We're still so for something like Sticky 3D controller, we had to get the product into the asset store before that rule came in. Otherwise, we wouldn't have been able to support 2018.4 or anything after 28 or anything before 2019.4. And we wanted to support 2018.4 and onwards because we've looked at the numbers and we think there's still about 20% of people that still use between 2018.4 and 19.4 because some people are using like 19.2 or something. They're in the late stages of their game development. They're not going to change because they know that every time they change, Unity will break a whole bunch of stuff. So they're not going to spend 3 weeks fixing a game, and they're only like 2 months away from a release. Like, you'd have to be crazy to.
But if someone's that far gone into the development of the game, are they going to pick up another asset from the store?
No. Well, yes and no, but the problem is when you have like multiple assets that can work together, if you try to put them all on different releases, that means that you have to test absolutely every combination in between. Do you want to do that?
I don't
as a tool developer? No, you don't. Just a little tip there. So everyone has this problem. Every tool developer has this problem, and some have tried to get around that by saying, well, we'll just release, one each year or whatever, and hopefully that will help our revenue as well. But it doesn't really solve the problem, because now you've got all these older versions and all the customers going, but I've got a current project, but I can't use the latest feature. Why not?
Oh yeah, and that's the other thing. Yeah, I mean, we've got chat Yolin saying about 2020's too unstable. I started using 2020 and I've stopped now. I've gone back to 2019.4. I was doing a lot of my stuff. Right. Well, I pulled my hair out. I really did. But then I discovered that 2019.4 has got some really nice little things in that I didn't realize. And now I'm happy in 2019.4. I don't think I'm going to move for another couple of years.
Yeah, and the problem is no strategy here in the tool market is going to be perfect because all of us are going to suffer from one thing or another, right? So our strategy is we'll keep developing our tools, we'll keep them up to date, and we'll be on the earliest version that Unity will kind of let us publish on. So now, obviously, we're going to drop some support as a rolling window like Unity do, because we have no choice.
Yeah.
Basically, Unity will not if Unity completely drops support for something, we really can't support it either, because how would you? You can't redo it. But we'll endeavour to stay on the oldest version we can as long as we can.
So if I look at stick, by the way, what is sticky 3D control? I saw this today, and when I was playing about, and I have to say I'm a terrible host because I just focused on your Sci-Fi ship controller and landscape builder, and I
Yep,
completely missed your sticky 3D controller.
that's okay. It's brand new. It's only been out a couple of weeks. It's the early version.
What does it do?
Basically, it's character controller, but you can because we build sci-fi stuff as well. We wanted to be able to demo stuff, and we also wanted people to be able to be in a spaceship that was flying upside down and be able to walk around inside the spaceship as if nothing's going on. And
Ooh.
you kind of go, actually, that's kind of tricky. That's tricky to do. So we went, here's a challenge. And people have said to us, well, how I want to buy a character control does this, which one? Well, there aren't any. I mean, there's some that do bits of it, but actually there's a lot of stuff missing. So we thought, well, there's a bit of an opening. Let's give it a go. So many months later, of lots of physics and maths later, we have a working product. It's still early days. We've got a huge roadmap for it, but anyway, let's talk about sticky another day. Let's talk about landscape.
Well, it's your new baby. We need to give it a little bit of love. So it basically does what it says on the tin. It's a sticky controller.
Yeah, but it does all the usual kind of other stuff, and it has lets you configure and animate. If you ever have an animated controller, it'll send all the data there. You don't have to write your own code to do that. You can, and it's conditional, and
Well,
it's all API. It's all API driven as well, so you can integrate it in your game. And
nice. You got 8-foot AK I see here, and a jetpack demo, compatible with UMA as well for all of the UMA lovers out there.
Yeah. So it works with your own animations, and works with say you could just grab stuff from a character from the Mixamo website and download some animations and configure it and just run it. So you can do all sorts of things with it. And like today, I've just pretty well finished off the head IK stuff, so that'll be the next release. And anyway, we digress.
Awesome. So let's do
that another day.
See, I told you that once you come on, that's it. You get a taste of it, and then you want to come back again and again and again.
I don't remember saying that. What? What?
No.
Did I want to come back again?
No, you will. You will do. I'm telling you. By the time you finish here, I won't be able to get you off. You'll be like, come on, let's play with more stuff. But right now, let's play with your landscape. So this, I know it's bizarre. It's one of the oldest procedural landscape tools on the store that not that many people know about it. When I talk to them about it, to be honest, it's one of those ones that kind of goes under the radar, and then somebody comes in and tells me like, oh, I use Landscape Builder and it's great, and especially people like with the integration you've got with Easy Roads as well.
So, I was going to just say to you, so we were talking about lightweight render pipeline, right? I think we got slightly distracted. If you look at the material type here, we have a list of which ones we support, right? And you'll see we've got lightweight render pipeline. I don't know if you can you see that on your screen?
I can. I've got my glasses.
Yeah, so we'll see. That's good. Probably no one else has. But
you've got HDRP written down there as well.
Yeah. So we but here's the thing: we supported HDRP in its first version. that was a really, really dumb idea.
I was gonna say it doesn't taste anything like it did back then.
Well, not only that, and we still support that, by the way. If you plugged in that version of HDRP, it would still work because we wrote all the code for it. We just left it there. It's like just orphan stuff just lying around our code. But if you installed HDRP version 1, I can't really think why you would do that. But if you did, and you clicked on that button, it would work because they used different terrain. They had like they had like this custom material that you had to set up as 4 different materials or something per terrain. I don't know. It was a crazy system, right? It's the worst idea we ever seen, even worse than the current version. But like every time they changed HDRP and came out with a different shade and material system that was just completely different, we had to change our code. And after many versions of that, we went, hold on a minute, why are we doing this again?
So is it now supporting the latest version of HDR? And by late, you've got I think the latest version means there's like 6 different versions of HDRP. DE Dowie was trying to explain to me.
Aren't we up to version 10 point something?
Yeah, but if you're using 19, it uses 7 point something. So you've got to support 2 different kinds, don't you?
So yeah, we have a let me just quickly see if I can find this.
Black Mage in chat saying poor HDRP. You've got people in the chat who are still actively using HDRP on their production projects, by the way. You've got masochists in the chat.
Yeah. Well, like I'm not against HDRP. I'm just against Unity's handling of the whole render pipeline thing. It's just really, really... And for tool developers, it's absolutely terrible. It's a nightmare.
You are not alone on that, I have to tell you.
All right. So what we do is we try to keep... We don't support all the individual versions anymore. We've got a README that kind of says, hey, if you're on this version of Unity, hopefully you're using this version of HDRP. So we've kind of tried to say, whatever the current version, like say if it's 19.4 LTS of Unity, we'll try and support the HDRP verified version on that release. And if stuff doesn't work you installed like a newer version they released yesterday and it breaks everything, we'll give it, talk to us and we'll have a go at trying to fix it for you. But, we're not going to officially support any of those versions.
Do you get people contact you with support, or do they just go straight to the forums and go 1 star?
Oh, no. No, we get a lot of, we have a huge support. We're really busy with support all the time in terms of, hey, we're producing this game and we're trying to solve this problem. How do we do it? We don't get... Occasionally you get someone that just goes to the store and just give you a 1 star or whatever, although I can't even remember the last time we had low ratings like that. But yeah, I mean, I guess support's the funny thing. I actually think our best customers are the ones that hated Landscape Builder when they installed it.
Oh, and you've managed to turn them from haters into being champions of your product.
Yep. And I know that might sound weird, but actually it's true. Like our best supporters are probably the ones who said, that complained and went, look, this just doesn't work. This is rubbish. And we go, okay, what's the problem? And they go, oh, you mean if I click this button, it'll all work? Oh yeah. Hey, it does. Did you look at the manual law? Well, no.
Well, no.
Did you look at any tutorial videos? Well, no. I'm a normal human being.
Exactly.
I just randomly click stuff, and it didn't do exactly what I wanted.
That's how we work. Okay. You just
that's normal.
And right now.
Okay. Well, if you just do this, and they went, oh. So fine, you can do all this stuff as well.
Show me by randomly clicking things now. If you've got a big button saying generate landscape, I'm assuming if you just click it, it will make my game for me.
it is. Look, there's my game. That's fantastic. So here we like I've been doing sci-fi stuff this week. So hey, look, here's our game. We're off and running. And if we have a look here, maybe well, we got 16 terrains and it's 8K, and it's whatever. So but we wanted to actually do something with it. So since we're kind of doing sci-fi, why don't we just try and let's see if I can find some. I think I've got maybe something might be happening. Oh, don't you hate the newer versions of Unity? Like, what is this? Why is it taking so long to do anything?
Oh, as long as it's not 2020. Oh, it is 2020.
It is 2020.
Oh no!
I'm like,
I was going to say, as long as you're not using 2020, we'll be safe. Wizards Own Codes has just joined us. I made it. Sell me them assets. Right, you made it just in time.
Yeah. So let's be brave. Let's try something that probably won't work.
All right, now you've got the little pop up. Oh,
okay.
that was quicker than I thought it would be.
So this is from this is a bit of data from NASA that I just found because that takes a while. And look, the data's not brilliant, So this is I don't know if you recognise but this is one of the famous canyons on Mars.
I've been there many times.
I'm not sure if you've landed here recently, but and you can see this data is looking pretty average. It's got like spikes all over the place. So I'm just going to have a go at fixing this up a little bit.
And this is you say what? This is 16 terrains stuck together.
Yeah, this is 16 terrains. Okay, so I'm just kind of smoothing this data out a little bit. I don't know. Maybe we should add a bit of texture here. So I'm just going to use like a preset. One of the things we learned early on, our early versions had no presets, right? So they were pretty. You could do anything with it, but everyone just like you clicks random buttons everywhere and then spent the rest of the week in support going, why didn't anything work the way I expected it to? So, we do have kind of like some really basic stuff to get you started. So you can just randomly click stuff and something happens.
I like that. That's how I work.
Yeah, this is just for you. Okay, so I'm just going to tint this these walls of the canyon a bit. Not really sure I really like that tinting. So let's just I don't know. Okay, it looks a bit more like Mars. Well, it is Mars, but anyway. And given I haven't really been there, I can't really say, does the canyon actually look like that or not? Hopefully it does.
And this works with, I saw in your job there, you had CTS and Microsplat and Legasplat and RTP as well.
Yeah, I know CTS is like already depreciated or something, or like we're already going to stop supporting that or something, which is fantastic.
Yeah, they're going to bring out. Adam's going to bring out his own replacement, but
why depreciate the old one? It's like surely didn't he make a lot of effort selling that to people?
Yeah, it wasn't actually. I think it's a cautionary tale of if you work together, two different studios work together, but it's on one studio's existing publisher account.
So it's a bit tricky to kind of sort that out.
Yeah, so I would suggest if anyone's planning to do a two studio partnership in the future, make a new independent publisher account on the asset store.
You'd think Unity would be able to just switch that over, wouldn't you? Or maybe that's just difficult for everybody.
Yeah, I used to give the asset store a lot more stick until I started playing about with Unreal and realized just how good Unity's asset store is compared to Unreal's got all of this money and they still haven't caught up with the asset store yet. So I'm being a little bit more forgiving these days.
Yeah, it's not a, yeah, I mean, people complain a lot, but, you know, if you think about, well, why are we, you know, why are we kind of in business here? Well, if it wasn't for Unity doing their thing, none of this stuff would exist.
Exactly.
So,
They've done something right up to this point. It's cool.
yeah, so you kind of have to think about, you know, that to some extent, don't you?
So this, you're drawing a circle now. What is this, like a mask? What are you putting
Oh,
about now?
I'm just gonna try and stick a bit of a, you know, just trying to make some sort of settlement or something here on Mars because we obviously want to land somewhere. So it's going to kind of flatten some terrain around the place.
And if this wasn't Mars, if this was Earth, we'll be talking about vegetation and plants. Now,
Yeah, and we'll get to that in a
I was
bit.
going to say, is this a part of your cunning plan to use Mars as an example and go, well, there you go. We don't need any plants and GPU grass and stuff like that.
Yeah, so let's just I don't know, this area here is probably going to look a bit naff, but I can use that word, can I?
Yeah,
So
it's after the watershed. We're allowed now.
yeah, so you know, let's maybe we should put a few assets on here so we can actually see something. Maybe let's just open the designer
Oh,
and see what I can find. I think I've got some sci-fi things I just got off the Unity asset store. Unity asset store is fantastic. People complain about the Unity asset store, but
there's a lot of free stuff on there.
yeah. So
It's
here we go. I've got
thousands upon the
this
thousands of.
sci-fi stuff here.
Now, landscape is not just about making the landscape. You're now adding to like the equivalent of Gina or Crux kind of, where you're now going to be sticking stuff, prefab
Oh
sort of
yeah.
things.
So our like this group system is you notice we got this old mesh prefab system that's kind of just for backward compatibility. Remember I said, hey, we care about backward compatibility. So we've got this new group system. Well, it's not new. It's been around for a few years now. It's extremely powerful. It does, you know, prefab, and we'll show you some of that stuff. So, you know, I've just got this designer here, and I'm going to put this stuff in my settlement. So it's really small because I've made this this group here really, you know, this group here is really big. So, you know, if I zoom right in, I can kind of see what I've just stuck on the in the designer here. So just adding a couple of things here. What else do I want to add in? I think I put one of those in before, but maybe. Oops. We can have another one of those. So this little thing here, if I zoom in and have a look at it, whoops. He's kind of below the surface at the moment, so I'm just going to right click and maybe snap the model to the ground. There we go. Okay, so that's all pretty unexciting. Zoom in a little bit. I shouldn't have made this thing so big. All right, so I have these really funny things here from this asset pack. I have no idea what they do, by the way, what they're supposed to do. But I'm gonna create a bit of a zone here. Maybe I can create a zone. Did I create a zone? Maybe. If I know what I'm doing.
Where did your zone go?
Oh, I probably didn't make it. There we go.
There it is.
So, I can move him. It is circular, but I can make him a rectangle or whatever I want. And I'm going to put this thing here that we did, whatever it is. I'm going to put him, I think he's this one here. Yeah, he must be that one. I'm just going to make a few changes to him. You're not placing center. I'm going to put him in that zone. And then maybe just refresh the designer.
Oh.
Okay, so I have all those guys in there, but instead of just kind of having them randomly placed around, because I'm just randomly clicking stuff here at the moment, I don't actually know what I'm doing.
That's the best way to work, Stephen. That's the best way to work.
So what am I trying to do? Okay, so let's just put them like maybe along the outside of the circle here, and maybe we'll make them a bit further apart. I could just turn on auto refresh, but like I could just automatically refresh the designer every time I move a controller. You just have it automatically rebuild every time. But I found that workflow is not that brilliant. Because even though it takes like half a second or something to do it, every time you move a slider, you kind of slide it sort of stutters a bit.
Yeah.
So
especially the more and more stuff that you get, more and more you've got on the screen, I suppose it becomes even more and more painful.
Yeah. So what I want to do here is I just want these guys here to maybe face the center of my zone. And then maybe I'll just turn them to face that way. If I can figure out what I'm doing. There we go. So, now we have them all like, I don't know what these things do, but maybe they're going to like defend me or something, and they're around the perimeter. And I can play around with that and do whatever I want. Okay, so let's just maybe we'll just get out of the designer. Just repopulate our terrain. Hopefully we'll be able to see something. You might have also noticed that we don't do real-time display. I don't know if you picked up on that.
Now that you say, I have.
Yeah, well, and that's been intentional. Like people will say to us, well, why when I don't move something, it's just automatically fixed on the, why doesn't it update in real time on the screen? And we have, we use GPU compute shaders and stuff. Well, why don't we just do that? Well, and the reason really is that we want to make the workflow similar no matter what size terrain you build or landscape you build. So, you might have noticed in other products that if you build a small one, real time works, but if you have something bigger, does this lag all the time? So we just went, a long time ago, we just said, look, everything we're going to do is not going to be real time. And when it comes to development, does it really make any real difference? What we want to spend more time solving, like a problem that a game developer has, rather than
making something shiny that looks good.
To make it look pretty. Yeah. Now I know pretty sells better, but I'm saying we just didn't go down that path, and probably wasn't. It's probably why we're not so noticed on the store. We haven't gone for pretty. We've gone for, hey, this development team, this studio has this problem. Let's go and find a solution for that problem, and let's build it into our product. And that's really what we've done over the years. So, most things you see in our product are related to a problem that either an indie or a studio had while they were building the game.
So real world issues that are able to be resolved rather than hypotheticals.
Make it look pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we do have some kind of, hey, wouldn't it be useful if you could do this, We do have some of that, but, most of our features are around solving. Some group of people had these problems, and that's now in our product. So, if you have something like that in your game or in your development process, we can solve that.
Basically, you're not saying that it's not that it's not pretty, it's that it punishes you. It's still functional, and it's more efficient to use it this way than it would be if it had a pretty blouse on. So it's geared more toward. Here you go. You can use that in the next marketing blurb.
Fantastic. Thanks very much. That makes me feel great. Hey, look, here's sticky. I'm just going to drop it in so we can look around. I don't know, maybe we should put a bit of lighting or something in as well. So let's just go down to...
And how many are you in the team? How big is SCSM?
So the team that build these products is about 140 of us at the moment. And hold on a minute, did I say 140? That's not really true. I don't know if you picked up on that. Are
you 140 or are you? I'm confused now.
Yeah, that's good. I'm glad you're confused. So I'm full-time, and then I have one part-time person, and I have another person that I sometimes get to do some work for us on our team.
So it's quite considerably smaller than 140 people.
It is a little smaller than 140, but my first estimate wasn't a good one. Maybe I was thinking about something in Landscape Builder at the time.
Maybe you're thinking of the day length of 1,440.
How many hours I've been doing this? Because we're going slightly slowly at the moment. I had a ton of stuff I wanted to show you. Let me just quickly turn on. Let's just turn on some stars or something. I don't know. Just do random stuff and.
Moon intensity, orbit rotation. Can that be used like to hook into things like Enviro and other things as well?
Well, it's a time of day system, and it has weather and clouds and rain and hail and all that kind of junk.
So you don't need anything else then if you've got landscape, but you've got.
It has all that stuff. I mean, some of the like our cloud systems probably not the same quality as some of the other more dedicated assets, and of course you can still use those other dedicated assets with our product as well. So I don't know. Maybe I should just give this a try and see what happens.
I love that you saved it first.
I don't really know what's going to happen. Here we go. So what happened to my?
You had a warning on the screen about your celestials. Something is null.
Did I?
Yeah. What was that? It's gone now.
Okay, so maybe my camera's not set up properly. Celestial camera. Okay, well let's make it this camera here instead.
There you go.
Starts now.
What'd you do without me?
Yeah, I'm glad someone's paying attention. I'm not. So there we have this kind of really weird Martian landscape that seems to take us forever to build today. I don't know. Should have been 5 minutes, but it took us half an hour. I don't think we should go into partnership for game development. We'd go broke.
No, it's the tale of the tortoise and the hare. Yeah. Slow but steady.
Anyway, we've had enough of that one. Let's go and do something else.
What's the biggest? I mean, you said you had 16 tiles for that one, and I'm assuming they're stitched together. Is it natively, or do you have to have some kind of third-party streaming tech like Sector or World Streamer or things like that?
So it's a good question. Like, do we have a streaming component out of the box? No, we don't. And there's a lot of good reason why we don't. If you've done any of this stuff, you'll know that streaming your terrains is the least of your problem.
I was going to say, is the main reason why reinvent the wheel if somebody else is doing it?
Yeah, that to some extent, but I don't know if you know a lot about streaming, but if you've ever done this in a large game, you'll realize that the streaming component of your assets and your terrain tiles is kind of not really the problem. So take, for instance, a really good example. If you have like a racing game and you have, if you have a racing game.
Oh, hang on. Yeah, carry on. I thought you were about to save over the thing and you saved it as two. And then I had a heart attack.
Whatever.
Oh my God, it just saved over his scene.
Who cares? It's just stuff. You can just make it again.
So you're interrupted. If you're doing a racing game.
So if you were doing a racing game, and you wanted to, you're tiling your terrain. So maybe you got like 100 terrains or something, and you're tiling them a couple at a time or 4 at a time or something when it's near the camera of the player, right? Yeah. Well, okay, you think about this. If you've got a single car and you're racing around the track, yeah, that works fine. But hold on a minute, you've got AI cars all racing around the track at different parts of the track. If they're using any kind of, which they will be doing, AI to detect the terrain, what objects, and like, am I about to crash into this wall or this barrier? Or what about the tree on the side of the road? So what, you're going to store all those elements and describe them without having them in the scene. So you have to store them as metadata somehow. And you see the streaming problem becomes, it's no longer a problem about streaming the terrain or the trees or the buildings into the scene. Your problem is now, well, what am I kind of going to do about it? So anyway, that's kind of why we haven't done it. We've looked at it many times and we've thought of doing it many times, and every time we go to do it, we go, yeah, but if you're a game developer, that's not actually what your problem is.
And there's more fun stuff for you to work on, I assume.
Yeah, there is. So, yeah, like streaming is something we've always thought about, but every time we've thought about it, we've realized that doesn't actually solve the game development problem. It helps, but it doesn't actually give you a streaming game. More sophisticated versions will try to solve some of those problems, but they're so game specific. Like I'm saying, that's a racing game situation. But there's lots of other scenarios where you have different sets of problems. Well, unless your streaming product solves all of those problems for every game developer or most game developers that have come out, sorry, what benefit did you just get?
Do you find that the client base is more geared towards larger, or what's a nice way of saying it? Most people who buy things off the asset store are never actually going to make a game with it.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Which is frustrating to us as tool developers.
Do you find that with your assets in particular, you're geared towards, or your customer base seems to be more of the game studios rather than person in his bedroom who might never release a game? Because the way you describe it, that a lot of your features are from real world issues from studios that you've identified and resolved, kind of
Yep.
makes it sound like you've had a good number of customers who are really making something with your stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we obviously aim, and we prioritize those people with our tool changes as well. So, they say, hey, we're working like, we recently had someone that was doing a ridiculous open world game with, I don't know, 600 square kilometers or something.
That sounds like
And,
me.
and, and and they'd built their own streaming solution because they realized you can't actually buy one that does that. And
I know it doesn't sound like
they,
me.
this is a game that will be released fairly soon. But they had particular problems, and they had to build their own custom editor stuff and all sorts of things. But we helped them with some of the API stuff, so they could use our APIs to help them in their workflow. But and that stuff's now in our product, but no one's going to use it exactly like those people did because their setup was different. But yeah, we do have a lot of, and over the years we've had a lot of, one person, two person, three person, indie developers as well. But and we always say to them, look, if you can't populate, you know, 2 or 4 square kilometers and make a realistic game, why are you trying to build one that's 100 square kilometers?
Yeah.
It'll just be empty. It'll be the most boring game you've ever seen in the world.
Fresh meat chat saying that's me. Exactly. Well, I mean, this scene that you've got now, you click the button, and then you click that display button, and all this stuff magically appear. Is this something that you had previously, or did they literally just click a button and it all just
Oh no,
randomly?
I thought about it and I clicked the button and it read my mind. It just did it.
It's
So we have these things called templates, which are basically you can build something and it's the meta. Remember I said about backward compatibility and not breaking stuff.
yeah.
We also want to be able to make our workflow non-destructive, which was another key design element of this product. So, like everything is whatever I set up in this editor here, I can save it out as it's saved in the scene there, but I can also save it out as a template file, which is kind of these things here, which is just all the metadata really of this scene. And it just goes, it's kind of like, it just populates the editor and then just builds the scene for you.
And I can even
So
share that with somebody else. Then I can go, look what I made.
yeah,
Let me save it, and I'll send it over to you. You give it a go.
so it's also for collaboration. So obviously there's lots of different collaboration tools around, but that's not always been true. So if I had a team all over the world, I could send them an update as a template.
That's nice. I like that.
Yeah, so all that sort of stuff. Again, it's as I'm saying, you're trying to solve real, game development problems as opposed to just making stuff look pretty.
What's this spline that you've got going around?
So that's just a camera spline. I can show you that in a few minutes if you like. It's just a camera follower.
That's nice. I like that.
I mean, again, you just build. There's lots. There's so much content in this pack and features. We'd spend a week just talking about it. Everyone to get bored really quickly. So if you think about, let's just change the grass out a bit, because this is just the Unity, grass that you get, and let's see if I can find some grass. Okay, so this is just one of the packs from the store. This isn't ours. It's just choose that one there or something. And let's just increase the density of it a bit so we can see it a bit better. What else have we got here? What do we need in the other pack?
Oh, that's a nice one.
This isn't out. I'm saying I just want to make this really clear. This is from HQ Photographic, and they've just kind of disappeared or something. So I'm not so sure what the story there. I don't know if you knew. Do you know this HQ Photographic?
Yeah.
So they're fantastic. We've supported them for many years. They have recently just disappeared off the store. I don't know if you knew that. Here's some gossip for you.
I did not know that. So they've actually, their stuff is gone.
Yeah, they, as a publisher, they're not on the store anymore. As of, I don't know, a few weeks ago.
I did not know that.
So you can see they do some really nice stuff. I don't know if you've used their stuff before, but
yeah, I've got a few of their packs. There's a new artist on the store who's doing grass called Digital Antichrist. That has a.
You're kidding.
That and their picture is of a zombie Virgin Mary, with which is quite disturbing indeed. Which, not too sure. But, I mean, it's a good marketing blurb, so people talk about them and don't forget them. That's for sure.
Yeah, I did a change just like this is a bit. You can tell this is a beta version. I don't know what's going on here. I did this change the other day, and I think I broke something.
If this is your first time with us, let me extend a personal invitation.
Thank you for that. Getting hosted here by Mr. Demon Wolf. Can I get a shout out to Mr. Demon Wolf in chat, please? You beautiful badger. So is this
I like this. I think I just broke something.
I like that. What was that? A null? What was that warning you? That error message you quickly?
Yeah, it's like.
It's because you're using 2020. I don't know why you're punishing yourself using 2020. Why would you use 2020?
Why would you use it? Because it could break stuff. Isn't that like why you always use stuff?
It's like, exactly. It's my job to break your assets. You're not supposed to break them yourself.
Oh yeah, we break our stuff. You know, it's intentional. It's like if we don't break stuff, well, yeah. Anyway, so we used to have some assets here, but they, for some reason, something weird's going on. I don't know what.
So when it comes to this grass, we've played about recently with a few different like vegetation engine, which I really loved. I was like stomping about with an elephant, stomping down flattening grass and pushing trees, and then you've got Vegetation Studio, and there's You Nature. That's an old one.
No, we integrated with them, and that was disaster.
Which one? You Nature.
Yeah.
Yeah. His day job was he's a teacher.
Yeah.
So I don't think he
from Israel.
Yeah, exactly. And a really nice guy. I used to chat with him for years.
Absolutely, I loved his stuff. That's why we integrated with him. We got on really well with him, but the product just kept going nowhere, and everything broke every version upgrade. And yeah, anyway, sorry. We thought his product had a lot of potential.
It was the same as UBuilder. He had UBuilder. Was that it was called UBuilder? And then EBS came out. And I remember chatting to him, and he's like, "Oh, you know, this asset's come out now, like exactly what I'm doing." And then he basically stopped his, and EBS is taken over to the point where like nobody even touches UBuilder anymore. And UNature, there's no point touching UNature anymore because there's Veg Studio and Vegetation Engine. So are you no longer integrating with people because of these previous experiences, or are you still integrating with other
No,
assets?
that's not true. So No, we still do integrate. Actually, I can show you Visual Studio Pro if you like in a few seconds. Like, let's just. So I just want to show you quickly this group. So in groups here, we kind of have a bit of a creek here. So if I go into the editor of that, so you can see, we have another spline system here, and I've got a river kind of profile here for my that I built along here, and I've added some fantastic Unity waterfall because it's the only thing we're allowed to ship with our product. I mean, come on, guys. Why is this still even a thing, and why is it kind of work but nothing else does? But anyway, so Unity is standard assets. It's a disaster, isn't it? So I can build a little stream along there, and I can carve the terrain, and I could even put some textures along the sides.
Oh, I was about to ask that question.
So I can. Yep. So I could kind of do that as well. I can just show. So I can see where the textures would apply and.
Oh, that's lovely.
Like that.
Yeah, I love that.
So I can do that sort of stuff, but I could also do something a bit more interesting with this bridge here. So let me just see if I can find this bridge. Maybe Cottage Path? I don't know. Where's the bridge? Ravine Bridge, that could be it. Yeah, so I have this bridge here. Let me just refresh that. And this is procedurally generated, obviously, so I can kind of move it around or do what I like with it. It'll just regenerate whatever.
Have you got like a shortcut key assigned to the refresh, like on your keyboard, Control R or something?
I haven't actually. I might have. I can't remember. I'd say there's so much stuff in here. I know we did a whole bunch of shortcut key stuff, but and I do remember vaguely, because Unity's shortcut key stuff is different between different editors. I can't remember if it works in 2020. It should work. I think at 19.2 or something was when it first came out. Anyway. Yeah, so I think you can set up a shortcut key for this. Or you can either right click in here or click in here or do whatever you want as well. So you can procedurally build meshes and along your paths, and you can populate things on the sides of paths. I probably have a better example of that. Or you could have the camera set. No.
Oh, we're in the ground.
What's wrong with that? That's a good shot.
That's a love. That's the money shot there, right there.
Because I built it from a template, I forgot to actually turn the camera on. So let's just see if I can set up the procedural the camera follower. I don't know, fade in or something. Did I put any lighting in the scene? Lighting. Let's just add the lighting in. I don't know, making the afternoon a bit. Whatever. Maybe that'll work. Maybe it won't. We'll give it a try.
That's all part of the fun.
Yeah, like random button clicking. You said you liked that.
I do. I live for that. I live for random clicking and shoving my face against textures.
Well, I don't know what's going on.
Did you randomly click the verify your path button?
Oh, I don't know. I randomly clicked something.
I did notice that one. I was like, oh, there's a verified path on your camera.
Yeah, I'll start on awake. There we go.
That one.
We could probably do with that.
Get cameras to disable. Oh,
Yeah.
what's that one all
Well,
about?
because we've got it like
Is
you
that
could
if
have
you've
a
got multiple
you could
cameras and
have
you're saying
you could have a multi-camera setup, right?
nice?
Again, remember I said trying to solve game development problems. We've had people with like 5 or 6 cameras in the scene. They want to choose which ones they want to use at the time. This will do all that for you. If you click the right buttons.
But are you disabling your one camera in the scene now though? Because you've got main camera
Yes,
in the
yes.
disable.
So I need to disable my main camera, I think. Maybe. I don't know. Let's give this a try again. There we go. It
There it
works
is.
now. So yeah, you can kind of like have a little camera and move it around and do whatever you want. There's the sun coming up or going down, or I don't know, something's happening.
So that is the camera following this spline, but you can still look around, or is it? Are you?
No, I'm just saying the camera to follow the spline. So yeah, it's like if you want to do a lot of fancy stuff like point of interest, I'd probably use Cinemachine for that. So
Yeah, I still need to do my Cinemachine lessons. Everyone keeps telling
okay.
me
So
to do it.
Cinemachine's quite good, and obviously we work with it. Ours will work with that as well. Let me just what about this scene here? Let's try
Oh,
this one.
English Village. There you go.
Don't be fooled by the name. That's just what we called it when we did this. We did this a few years ago.
I'm surprised you didn't call it Palm Village.
My wife's English, so I still have to, make sure that the locks haven't been changed. So what's going on here? Okay, so this is a bit of a scene we made a little while ago. Hopefully it still works.
While it loads up, important question. What happens
It's
when
already
there's
on. Yep.
oh yeah, that's very quick. What happens when the rugby's on or the cricket's on the TV?
I win.
Are you supporting Australia at that point, or is that
Of
or are
course,
you
absolutely.
that's very risky, isn't it? I would have thought that the default response would be if if whatever the wife tells us to do, that's who we're supporting.
Yeah. So here's a little scene we made a little while ago. This is using this has Vegetation Studio Pro integration. So we kind of tell Vegetation Studio where we want the grass, and then Vegetation Studio goes and renders it for us.
Is that so? Where you don't get grass growing inside houses and stuff?
No, so so we have masks and stuff for our, like if I have, hopefully, I don't know if I've got this set up. Let me just this is a bit more detailed, so it might take a few seconds to load up. Yep. This is just our little village that we've done in the designer, and I don't know if we have grass excluded on these objects or not. Let's just have a look here. So maybe these ones don't have it. So yeah, you could just create a little a zone around around your house here and just exclude the grass from it, if that makes sense.
It does. It's a different workflow to a lot of other things I've looked at. So if you're moving from a different tool to landscape building, I would suggest watch a few videos to get your head around the different nuances that this system has.
Yeah, or just randomly click buttons like you do and just get random outcomes.
Or watch this video back and go, oh, I see what he was doing.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, this has a little river and stuff in here, but one of the things is all of these. This is just procedural world, right? So procedural village. So you could have like lots of these around your landscape, and then do some random things in there to make them look different. Yeah, and it's got like lots of object paths in here because we've got these, these stone walls, stone fences from the from LB Environment Pack as well in there. There's a lot of stuff going on in this particular scene.
But were you putting these houses down by hand, or like you had before, where you had those sci-fi structures go around the perimeter? Are you able to put these houses like now procedurally generated following the road?
So here's the thing. I'm a normal human being. I'm inherently lazy. And the guy who did most of this scene, he's not really much different than me in that regard. He enjoys, So no, these roads are a path. So if I can just find one, maybe, I don't know, maybe we should look for
Main Street. Number
Main
3?
Street.
There you go.
Did you see Main Street?
I
somewhere?
did. It was there you go. That's a good one.
So you can see this Main Street here. There's this street going down here, right? Okay. It's just a street, and in there's a bunch of houses that are members, and we've chosen to lay them out. See, you like this? It says random.
I like that.
This is just for you. And these houses are on the left-hand side of the street. You can see here we've got a series, and it's left-hand side of the street, and we have, a right-hand side of the street with a bunch of different houses that it shows. And they're random, and we're spacing them a particular. There's also, there's a lot of different options around how you want to make this.
What's random less repeats?
So that's just different random algorithms because we have our own random generator as well. We're in a maths, so every math person wants to write a random generator because obviously there's no such thing as a random generator. Everyone wants to be able to crack that one. So we have different random algorithms so that your houses don't look like they're all the same together. Like if you use Unity's random generator, you don't get very random.
Well, life's not that random either, I would say.
Yeah. So, and if we're in England, hey, if every house looks the same, well,
that's normal.
Hey,
that's realistic.
See, like these guys here, these houses here are pretty close to being the same.
Yeah, that's like if I look outside my window.
Exactly.
Although the thing is, you see, 5 houses look the same, and then there's another house next to yours that for some reason they're a little bit bigger, or they've got their gardens a little bit bigger, and you just
it's not your house.
No, and then you're like, how dare you? Is that how did they get a bigger garden than me?
It's like, what? How did that happen? So huge number of options around this. And this is all cell-based procedural generation, so it's very fast.
I love how easy it looks as well.
Yeah, so
you've added fences down as another group in there. You had houses on the left, you had houses on the right, and then
in this Main Street one.
Yeah, so you had a series for. Where did they go? So you got houses left, houses right, fences left, fences left 2, fences left 3.
I think when David did this, he got a bit carried away.
Was he drinking at the time?
It's like, although it was probably during the development of some of these features. So a lot of this stuff. See, we've got this kind of curved fence here as well. So and that will probably be offset from one of these other roads.
And you got an intercept. How did you get that crossroads working? Is that 2 separate splines?
Yeah, they're 2 separate splines that just cross each other.
And they know that there's an intersection there. Or did you have to do it by hand?
By hand? Are you crazy? You remember the bit about the laziness?
I do.
You seem to forget that we'd rather write code than actually go around placing things manually. We're programmers.
So this is because I've looked at a few. I've looked at the what's it called, the Fantastic City Generator, which is one of my favorite tools for just clicking something in 1 second and having a generated city. However, it's not flexible at all. You can't have your custom roads or grid layout if you're not doing an Athenian style grid city. Then you'd be scuppered. And then there's City, which is I thought it was great. I loved it, but it had its nuances as well. And now this is actually its own city generator. Then, if it is
and say we've procedurally made a bridge here as well. It's not a very pretty bridge, and it's kind of got some weird things happening with the fences. I don't know what David was doing there, but there's a procedural bridge here.
Poor Dave.
There's just he's not on the chat, so
so you can say what you want.
I could say what I like, and he'll go, "Oh, you really? That was you. You did that. That wasn't." I'll go, "Oh yeah, I think it was probably me." So we have this little bridge here along the road here, and it's just made out of planks of wood from the environment pack, and it's just gone. Okay, I want the bridge to be this long and this wide, and then just add these planks a distance apart. So.
Oh, we've got a question in chat.
Stuff.
So, can you change the path of the spline, and it lays out the models appropriately? Can we see it in action? Oh, can we see it in action? That's a dangerous thing to ask.
You mean?
Like, yeah, let's change.
So you don't like this PDF document, or you don't like the picture I'm displaying on the screen here?
Exactly.
You want me to do something?
Exactly.
Are you crazy?
Show us.
Break everything.
In 2020, no less.
Okay. So you mean just drag it over here and just randomly see what happens when I refresh it?
Yeah, let's see what happens.
Am I allowed to close my eyes when I do it?
Mine are closed. Oh, it moved stuff.
What? Okay, so let's just move it over here or something.
Question is it going to randomly change the houses? Let me try and remember. There was big housey. So
are you on the randomness to change?
Will that change every time?
Was that the question?
I think the whole thing.
No,
is.
so you can do that, but because it's procedural, sometimes you actually don't want that to happen. You want to get similar outcomes, right?
Mm.
So I think we have a thing here where you can kind of decide whether it's going to be, always completely random, because the randomness will also depend on what else you have in the scene. So if I add something else in, maybe before this in this list, it has its random placement, right? But if it's always in the same place in the list, it should be procedurally the same. But if I had this village in like 5 places, I would get 5 different villages.
I get you. Wizard says, "There we go. I trust you more now." My question is, if you move that road intersection, the other one, is that crossroads going to change?
So it's not a crossroads.
Looks like a crossroads. Smells like a crossroads.
But remember when I said we do stuff to solve game problems, right?
Smoke and mirrors.
So your problem here is you want an intersection.
Yeah.
Your problem's not. So like if I move the other one won't change. So if I just refresh just the path, or if I just refresh the whole design, you'll notice that the offset of these fences along here hasn't changed.
Yeah.
Because we didn't change it. Because remember I said this is not an intersection? Does that make sense to you?
It does. So how did you define to have a gap there?
So I could then go to this other path and change the position of the starting and ending positions of these fences.
Go on then.
So
how did you do that?
There's a good question. So I need to find the other road. I'm not sure what he called it. Let's see if we can figure that out. So what were they called? Streets, were they? Okay, so I have
left street, 2 left street.
It can't be. Yeah, maybe it is. Left. What's left? I mean, I'm sorry, but oops, what did I do then? I just broke it.
Is leading me to my next question. Does it work with undo? What with a Control Z? Is that going to do anything?
Some undos work, some don't. Undo's a really contentious issue in Unity completely. Really, it's pretty nasty. So we support undo as much as we can, but because we don't have a destructive workflow, like if I want to change this back again, I just move it over here and refresh it, right? I don't have to redo. I haven't really lost anything. I still have my metadata. Whereas obviously if you did this in a Unity terrain and you move stuff around and you flatten the terrain again, there's no undo.
Yeah, I was going to ask, like, if your road is now carving or raising the terrain at all.
We do that because we have the metadata. We just recreate it. It recarves the terrain every time I do it. So, and it knows what was there before and it knows what's there afterwards. So
it's effectively like it's filling in the old carve and then it's giving you a new.
Yep. Because it's building the whole terrain, right? So, for instance, I don't know if I still is in this scene. Let's just see if I can turn this one. I don't know what this one, what state this one's in. I mean, the random stuff could happen here. Okay, so like I have a really weird looking road here with these stone walls along the side, right? Let's try and edit this path.
It's like being in an English country road. Your classic road with the. It's like you've been watching a lot of Last of the Summer Wine. Have you seen that? What do you get? English TV?
So the landscape builder pack's actually based on the stonework from Yorkshire. So you're in the right part of the world.
There you go.
So like if I have this. You saw, like, I'll do something really weird and stick it up here. I don't know what's going to happen, but let's give it a go.
Oh,
you can see it's it's having fun trying to put those up and down the gradient. But we're flattening our. Am I flattening? Let's have a look. So let's flatten the terrain here. Just randomly flatten it. Okay, so you can see we've kind of flattened the terrain. Just probably needs a bit of adjustment, but it's doing some weird things. So make a bit. That's looking a bit better. So it's flattened the terrain just where the road is. If I move the road and refresh it in the editor, you can see it redoes the. And because I'm in edit mode at the moment, right? So I can play around kind of and I'm just refreshing this road and nothing else. So if I had other stuff in the scene, it wouldn't change. And then when I get out of edit mode, I can then say, okay, well, now just build the whole scene. Obviously, there's nothing much here anyway, but if you can see what I mean.
I love
So
how
yeah,
quick it is as well.
it's modifying the. And again, we thought, well, we could create this as a new product and do what some other people done and said, we've got this path building system, but we went, well, you know what? Let's just put it in Landscape Builder. You just get it for free.
Well,
Yeah,
what if somebody just wants that though? Can I have Landscape Builder and just use this path tool then on another terrain?
Yeah. Well, you still have to import the terrain, but we have an import system for that, and just click a few buttons and it's done. Yeah, absolutely.
So I've already made my game. So basically, my game's near enough done, but I've been making paths by hand all this time, and now
are you crazy?
Exactly, and only now because of this stream, people have gone, oh wow, now I didn't realise Landscape Builder's got this amazing tool. So I've got my ready-made world that I've already populated full of stuff, and I want to now throw Landscape Builder on top of it and take advantage of this functionality, but I don't want to lose what I've already got.
Yep. So you'd import your terrains into Landscape Builder, and we have a feature function do that. It's pretty simple.
And you got a YouTube video showing us how to do it?
Yep.
Love it.
Yep. There's a video somewhere, possibly, how to do that, and then you could then say, this is the environment. The stone walls are from LB Environment Pack, so you could get Landscape Builder. You could even get it in a Landscape Builder bundle, or you could win a copy of Environment Pack.
Oh, there you go. We're going to give away presents.
Yeah, do that. Why don't you give them away a copy of? Now they'd still need to get Landscape Builder, or they could use. Of course, everything in Environment Pack you can use with your own assets as well. You don't need Landscape Builder. But obviously it works nice with Landscape Builder because you can do stuff like this.
Let me load up the old picture. Yeah, where did it go? Back in.
Yeah, so what are you... if there's anyone still awake on the stream or they're in a decent time zone like I am, and it's, breakfast time.
So the Environment Pack, just putting up here, like you're saying, it's a collection of art assets that don't necessarily have to be used with Landscape Builder.
Yeah, but if you use them with Landscape Builder, hey, everything's... if you use it with Landscape Builder, you get all this nice sort of integration stuff. But of course, you can use your own assets with, you don't have to use our stone wall here. You can put whatever you want there. You could put, telephone poles or, anything. You could put a bunch of people on the side of the road if you wanted to. Not really sure why you would, but maybe if you're building a rally game, hey, we like racing games. You could build. You could have a crowd of people stuck at different points along the side.
Stephen, I'm building a racing game. It's true. Raffle started. Everyone do exclamation mark raffle in chat. Dam's just come in. Perfect timing. Hi, Dam. Exclamation mark raffle in chat. So, third-party vegetation not included. Batteries not included. So what you got here, 100% standalone, but can be used with procedural placement tools like Landscape Builder to construct farms, towns, or villages. Over 300 prefabs, 8 stone walls, 7 dry stone wall segments, 2 opening wooden gates, 8 wooden fences and posts, 7 ground textures, 8 wooden planks, 3 piles of fence posts, 4 stacks of roof tiles, 24 prefabs, and 12 small flat rocks, 72 prefabs, and 2 small flat rock piles, 24 prefabs. That's a lot of prefabs. And a thatched roof style in URP, LWRP, and for Black Mage, HDRP as well. There you go, buddy. Just for you. So exclamation mark raffles in chat. Get your waffles going in the chat.
Yeah. So, and how are they gonna win this?
Wizard Tonko says, my wife came in just as you discussed Yorkshire. She grew up there, so I have my instructions. Exclamation mark raffle for Wizard Tonko's wife. I should put the music from Last of the Summer Wine on in the background.
Yeah. And we one of my guys on the team, spent quite a lot of effort on these. I actually quite like these walls. I think they do actually look like, the ones you get in, and the ones you get in Yorkshire, and they are in, you can have them in 512 or 2K or 4K textures as well. They're all in the pack. So.
Oh, that's nice, because depending on what kind of project you are, you want to have, might not want to have massive textures, or you might want to have massive textures. So
yeah.
And I remember getting told off in the past by various people of my lack of tact between Yorkshire and Lancashire, and basically saying,
no,
they're exactly the same. There's no difference between them. What are you talking about? They're like, you dirty southerner, how dare you?
Yeah. Hey, can I quickly show you runtime?
Do it. Show me all the juicy stuff.
Because well, I wouldn't. I can't show you all because there's so much content.
See, this is the point where you go, I need to come back another time to show you more stuff.
I didn't say that. You said that. Okay, so I have an empty scene. Let's just grab see if I can quickly find.
Wizards don't code. While you're finding something, Wizards don't code in chat. I grew up in Lancashire. Is this a Smarties moment? We were arguing of different types of Smarties previously in chat. Yes, I'm probably going to make lots of enemies now if I.
Yeah, careful what you say now.
Not being able to understand the difference between Lancashire and Yorkshire is a far more sensitive conversation than our previous arguments about British Smarties, American Smarties, and M&Ms. Oh my word!
That's like saying the only difference between France and England is they're joined by a bit of water. Isn't it kind of like similar kind of conversation?
Yeah, we could say there's no difference between Australia and England, apart from Australia's got less rain.
So do you have a winner for your?
The raffle. How much time have we got? We've got 21 seconds to go. 20 seconds.
Wow!
Exclamation marks. Raffle in chat.
Okay, in that 21 seconds, let's just try and build a runtime environment.
So this is runtime.
This is just all C# code calling our APIs. So I've put that one in the scene, and let's see how long it takes us to build that scene.
Okay. While you do that.
Oh, sorry. So, was it supposed to be slower? Okay, well let's just change some trees while we're waiting then.
Yeah, right. I'm gonna do a drum roll, and the winner is, as you play with your trees, Liquid Shot Games, and it's now must be 8 o'clock, 8:30 for Liquid Shot Games. Liquid Shot, you're a winner. You've won some M&Ms from Yorkshire. Congratulations, buddy. I'm going to write your name down. Liquid Shock. It's your 1000th win. Congratulations, buddy. Yay. For more Yorkshire game levels. Congratulations, bro. So, when you could just clicking play now and it's generating it, but can you change it in runtime? Like now, as you've done it, can you make changes to the environment during runtime?
You could in your code. You could regenerate stuff as you go in the environment. I'm not sure why you'd really want to, but you could. Like you could put houses here and do stuff as you go. But because it's going to take you maybe a second or so to generate, the question is, do you want to?
Yeah, because you can put particle effects to disguise the transitions. Yeah.
I guess so. Like this one took me 2.26 seconds to generate.
And how big is it?
It's not huge. 2 kilometers square.
Right, it's big enough.
Yeah. So now, this, see if I can just, let me see if I can open this script.
Now, all I know is that I like M&M's more. And I did a quick poll between the kids and they agree. That's just wrong. Smarties always wins over M&M's. I don't understand this conversation. So now,
Can I just quickly explain this scene?
Is this script now all that was used for your settings, and then it's calling in other magical things?
So this is like you'll see it's calling our APIs to do things like here we are applying the textures and the graphs and building the groups, and applying them to the landscape. Now there's a bunch of settings in here, like and it self-documents. You see that it's kind of like documented these sections, right? And you think, oh man, am I going to type all that stuff in? Are you kidding me? Remember about us being inherently lazy people?
Yeah, that's a lot of typing.
That's a lot of typing. Like, are you crazy? Well, the first time we did that, we thought of that as well, because remember, we're kind of lazy people. So maybe if I should just run the scene so it generates. I haven't tried this for a while, but hopefully this will work. I'm just going to put it into our editor, the runtime, what it generated, so you can see what it made. Pretty, and it built this road along here as well, and put some posts along the side of the road. But if I go into the, group here it's populated. There's a little, this little scripty button here.
Oh yeah.
So I can build things in the editor that I want to do for runtime. And then I can just click on the script buttons in wherever I want to script out. And it will, it'll script out this texture here. And it's written all the C# code for me.
Oh, my word, I like that.
And it even tells you where to paste it into your code.
Well, that's helpful.
So you copy this, and then you go to your code and go, just paste it in here. Now I'm done. And of course, and then if you want to do things differently at runtime, you just edit the code that it made. Does that make sense?
It does make sense.
So the runtime stuff is generally what we recommend is you build a few scenes in the editor, you script it out, and then you play with it. And then, of course, if you then want to change something, you go back to your original design, you script it out again and just plat it over all of the code that you messed up.
Dan Vico says, well, colour me impressed. It's a totally different way of solving problems. Like you mentioned earlier, these are problems of people trying to make real games, and rather than the shiny, pretty blouse. And I love the fact that your S is on, I just want to take that script from that part, that component. I've tweaked that particular part, so I just want to dump out the script and not the whole lot, because I don't need to change the whole lot. I just need to change this one little bit.
Yeah. So one of the things people say, hey, I want to build a random game. Well, actually, you don't want to build a random game. People say, I want random landscapes. And I say, you could try that, but it'll be the most terrible game you've ever seen.
So this one, have you played that? What? Have you looked at Valheim and how, because that's a nice example that people have found a website where you type in a seed number and it shows you what the world that it's created, and it's got all of the mountains and the rocks and everything in there. Would you be able to do something like with landscape, but to go, okay, I'm got 500 whatever seeded landscapes that I've generated now, and I can just then, if you type in A B C D E F G, it will then create.
Yeah, you could do that. You could easily do that, and that's kind of so. But what you can also do, you could say, "Hey, I want my sorry, my headphones are just falling off. Can you still hear me?"
I can. You sound lovely.
So what you really want to do is maybe you want to make 5 landscapes, different scenes, and then for each of those scenes, in your code, you want to vary some stuff. So, like move the noise around or something. So say if you're doing a Perl, and we didn't look at any of that stuff, but if you just look at let's just delete that bit there. Maybe you create something really simple. I don't know.
Just as we're playing back with more toys, Black Mage is finally calling it a night. It's coming up to 2 a.m. in the UK for Black Mage. Good night, buddy. Thanks for sticking around as long as you have.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I can't believe you guys are still awake. I'm only just awake.
I've got to look after the kids tomorrow. I'm going to be in trouble.
Probably. I don't know. So maybe just create something really, really simple. You notice we imported some real data, but of course, you can also I don't know, do something like hey, we've been to Yorkshire before. Or maybe you want to do Scarif because you've just watched Star Wars or something. I don't know.
Yorkshire will do. Yorkshire Dales.
Yeah, so you could do something like the Yorkshire Dales, or I don't know, maybe move them around a bit or something. Or not. Let's just do that. Of course, you can also, you can mod it. You can mix and match as many of these as you like, right? So, I could add another one in as well, and I don't know, maybe. So you could have a bunch of these that you could load into, as well. So, maybe I want to have Scarif over the top of it or something. I don't know. It's kind of really dumb. Scarif Island, right? It's off the coast of Ireland, right? Where they filmed Star Wars.
I haven't been there, I have to say.
You haven't? Well, it's a cold, windy place that no one in the world wants to go to, which is probably why so I have the Scarif Island stuck in the middle of stuck of my Yorkshire, which is kind of like a bit weird, but there you go. Let's just I don't know. Let's just lower it down a bit or something. Anyway, it's not really what I was going to say. I got distracted again. So what I was going to say is you can do, so, I've got a Perl and mountain base, or Perl and, mountains or peaks or something I'm putting in there. Well, in my runtime code, I could script out this layer, and then I could play around with all these settings, right, to make my mountain landscape look very different. But I still kind of know what it approximately looks like because I've played with the editor. If you think about it, if you want randomness, that's fantastic if you've got a single person shooter game, as long as there's nothing to shoot and there's no buildings. Do you really want your building stuck on the side of a mountain?
Mm.
Or if you're building a road,
you need to have rules, don't you? If it's random, there's going to be a lot of rules applied to it.
Yeah, so what we suggest is basically if you're doing so-called random, you really don't want a random landscape. You want a predictable landscape that the developer knows about, that the user thinks is random. Does that make sense?
It does. Smoke and
So
mirrors, like we said before.
yeah, so you could have like
Controlled
50 or 100.
random, Dan says. I like
Yeah,
that.
you could have like 50 or 100 runtime generated, and your code tweaks the values to make it look random. But or you tweak, when it does the tree population, it changes the spacing or the noise values, and the trees all appear in different places. But from a developer's point of view, you still know. Hey, one thing I didn't show you was the stencil tool.
Yeah,
So,
sure. I mean, I know.
do you have time?
I
Like,
do. I did say I'll keep you to an hour. We're already coming to 2 hours in.
are you okay with that?
Yeah, but I want to see it because this is an important part of your terrain creation.
Like, I'm sorry, but we just have so many features. We haven't even started on the features. There's thousands of them.
It sounds
can
like
you...
that you need to be coming back another time. That's what it sounds like.
It doesn't sound like that to me. I just want to grab a scene here. Maybe let's go to this one here. Oops, did I load that? Do I say, it's this junk? Why am I...
Why are you going to save it? Don't say that.
Don't save stuff. Is this the right one? Oh yeah. So here's my little scene, right?
I remember this one. Hello, how are you?
Yeah. Just dump that in there and just bring it in so we can see something, see what we're doing. Okay, so it's a pretty small scene, right? But we have this kind of ravine flowing through where our river is going to go. And we probably want to limit where, like we could control the tree, where the trees go, by doing, like I've got sort of inclination here, like slope value, or I could do height and inclination for the trees, but it's not really going to work with this ravine, right? Because if I do slope, I'm going to have trees in the middle of my river.
Yeah,
Does that make sense? And if I do height, well, anything below then I don't get my trees down here. Well, I could manually place them, but hey, remember, I'm lazy.
Yeah.
I just want to be able to say, don't put trees in my ravine. Well, how would I do that? And that's this thing called stencil layers. So you see I've got these 2 stencil layers, and I'm using them as a filter. I'm saying, for my trees, don't put them in the ravine and don't put them somewhere else. I've, for some reason, I've got rid of. Maybe I deleted it. See, that's probably when you mess around with stuff.
It's only the problem when you mess around and you click save.
So I've now got this kind of like top-down view of my landscape. And I've got this really silly-looking. I must have been playing with this earlier. So and there I have my. So what I've done is I've just painted on the terrain where I don't want the trees.
I like that.
So my trees have all the other rules, but I have this painting tool that can act like a filter. So I could just create a new filter, call it something, I don't know, call it like I don't know, maybe have a secret area in my terrain that I want to do something different with, like a.
It's where you keep your Smarties.
So where you keep your American Smarties, yes. I'm Australian, so I can say that. And I could just say, okay, well, why don't we just, I don't know, I don't really like white. Let's just change it to something. So this is just an arbitrary color I can give it so that I know what's going on, right? So I can differentiate between my layers. So, I can turn the other layers on and off and whatever, so I can hide them if I wanted to. But yeah, I could then just maybe draw a sort of area here, whatever shape I like, whatever I feel like. I could even go and, I don't know, like smooth out the edges or something, because I want some sort of like, maybe I'm doing grass and I want some gradient where my grass is less on, I don't know. I'm just making this up as I go on, right? Depending on what you want to do. So, but because it's like more like a artist tool, I can just paint where I want stuff. Because some people go, well, look, I've got this ravine. I just don't want trees there. I don't care. I just don't want them there. So I'm just going to use that as a filter. But I could also use that as a filter to place like a different texture along my stream. But then I've also got my, stream building or path building tool. I can do that as well, and I have a bit more control.
Chat saying, this has been my #1 feature request for my current favorite landscape builder asset. I'm sold. Dan says, I like this approach of creating game scenes and maps. Wizard says, yes, this stencil thing plus scripting is awesomeness. Controlled random, as Dan previously called it. So your stencils have converted people in chat to want to pick up and play with your thing.
Yeah, well, and of course it has other features, like you can build nav meshes with it and all sorts of other crazy stuff as well. So,
I like that.
Because
stenciled nav meshes I hate having to do nav meshes.
So you can draw the nav mesh, and then it'll create the mesh objects for you on your terrain, the right shape of your terrain as well.
I previously had to like put down, put down objects to simulate how I want to draw my nav mesh, and now I can't believe I can just click here and literally just paint around on my.
Of course, why shouldn't you be able to?
Exactly. Why isn't this native inside?
Why isn't that in Unity?
Exactly. It doesn't make any sense why it's not inside Unity. Unsubscribed says, we want to play with his thing now? Yes, it's a family-friendly channel, but we want to play with it. And if you want to, !SCSM chat, so you can get a link to go to the asset store and see it for yourself.
Yeah, so, there's lots of stuff. As I say, I've even scratched the surface around what you can do here. I'm just kind of going, maybe we could show you that. But you guys probably want to go to bed.
Well, it's afternoon for the Americans, it's the morning for the Oceanics, and it's nighttime for the Europeans. It's a bizarre.
Just because you live in the wrong part of the world, that's what the problem is.
Well, at least you know what the future is, because it's the next day for you, isn't it? So.
Yeah. Well, I like. Yeah.
And as we mentioned earlier, you've got integrations, like you've got working with different textures like microsplat, megasplat, CTS, RTP. It works with URP, LWRP if you're in the time machine, and HDRP as well. And also you've got Vegetation Studio Pro integration. What about Vegetation Engine? Have you with Boxophobics have you looked at that yet, or not?
No. So integrations like love and hate though, right? Because there's always stuff that breaks.
And if somebody else has not updated their thing and you've updated yours to the latest version,
it gets complicated, right? So, I mean, the reason we've always supported things like Vegetation Studio and Vegetation Studio Pro is because, hey, Leonard's just such a great person to work with, and he's so responsive.
Yeah, he's one of a few unique breed that kind of like you feel like that asset's never going to be deprecated. and it's always going to be updated no matter what kind of shenanigans Unity pull out their finger. A Davico asks, can a stencil layer be reused, like use a copy of the layer to bake the nav mesh, and another copy to paint with, and another copy to flatten the path? So that's like you were showing a second ago, where your line was being used to not paint in the trees as a mask, but it's also able to be used for something else.
Yeah. So, sorry, it's map paths. That's probably not what you want. There's another way of doing terrains, or adding things onto terrains like rivers and stuff. So you could use. So if I look at a Perlin layer, Perlin additive layer, maybe. Man, there's just so many features in our product. So yeah, so like I could use a stencil layer. Here we go. I could use this stencil layer. Oh, there we go. Of my ravine. I could use that to build part of a mountain range if I wanted to.
Oh wow, yeah.
But that might not be the best way to do it. Like, because the only problem you will have then is blending. You know, like if you haven't got a really nice blend on the edge of your stencil layer, you know, like between the solid color and no color, if you haven't blended that really well, they'll be reflected in your terrain.
Yeah.
So yeah, you could do all that. And I suppose you could adjust some of the curve stuff in the Perlin layer to even that out a bit. I think we have a demo on that, but you know, I'm just being cautious. I'm saying there's probably better ways to achieve that same thing. But yeah, of course you can.
You got video. How many videos you got on your YouTube? You got.
I don't know. There's probably not that many. There's a lot. There's quite a lot on group system, and you know, we obviously keep trying to do more. So, you know, it's always a trade-off between, hey, do you want a new feature, or do you want us to create a tutorial which will probably take us about 4 days?
And by the time that you do it, are they out of date because of how quickly you're updating new things?
They are, but a lot of the principles still apply. Like sometimes, you know, like when we first bought out things before we had stencils, if you wanted to put a mask over, you know, a texture, apart from the normal rules, you could use a map path. So you could build using another feature in our product called map paths, you could build a path, make it at different widths and stuff, and then you could use that as a filter. But now you just use stencil layer because you just paint it on. And of course, stencil layers are 16-bit, which means they're really fast and quite accurate as well. So
it's the gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I just can't help myself.
Gilbert asks, why have I never seen this asset before? And this is what I mentioned earlier, and I mean it in the sweetest possible way, that this is one of those assets that a lot of people don't know about, yet the ones who do know about it are making a lot of noise. Are basically, you know, saying about how great it is and how much they love using it. And just today, by you showing us through maybe 5% of what you've got, we can understand why. Yeah, Dan, we call it a hidden gem. It is. It really is a hidden gem. And it's a different way of working, a different mentality, a different way of trying to solve similar problems that other people have gone about different ways before. So if, we've had people who say they like the idea of magic, but it's not really for them, or people that like Gaia, the idea of it, but it's not for them, you know, and they can see why World Creator is useful, but it's not for them. You know, there's people there's so many different tools for different types of people out there, and this is another one that goes about, and it's so different. It is so different that I can see how if you've never used any tool before, it's going to be very easy for you to get your head around it. If you've been using a different product for years, it's going to take you a little time to get your head around this. So I put a link in chat to their YouTube channel. Pop over there, have a watch through. I encourage you to click random buttons as always, but maybe it's worthwhile to see the intros and do a few Hello World demos first before you try to build your MMO the day you buy this.
That would be useful.
Bit of advice.
So like I think one of our certainly one of our problems. We haven't had a price rise since, I don't know, 2016. I actually think our product's probably too cheap.
Well, yeah, with all these extra bits, I've split them out into separate assets, or I got a feeling that that your price might be going up higher. Competitively, you are, I think you're the cheapest landscape asset, and you've also got a river and a road and a weather system built in as well.
Yeah, although our weather system doesn't work with URP and HDRP.
Many don't. I forget. It's a good thing it works with built-in. Otherwise, the sentence would be, "Our weather system doesn't work." But if you're using built-in, then it's fine.
Well, yeah. So a weather system. We thought of rewriting it for URP and HDRP, and we're still waiting for them to actually be stable. And I'm not sure if we'll ever. And I'm not sure if we'll ever take the risk of that. I'm just being open and honest here.
There's no need to reinvent the wheel if it's not the bread and butter of what you're doing. Wizard Dotco says it is too cheap. And he also says, I have to go eat dinner with the family. We'll play with this soon. Thanks both. Wizards, thanks mate. And I'm glad that we've converted you to possibly have a look at Landscape Builder. !SCSM in the chat to get a link over to the asset store. It's very affordable, especially since this asset seems to do what both Gaia Pro and Gina Pro do, and each of them is over $100, and you get them both functionalities in this one pack. And there's also, you've got a Landscape Builder bundle, which is I'm guessing the environment pack with the Landscape Builder pack. So that's a saving of, I'm trying to do the maths, like it's a saving of money getting the bundle.
That's a good answer.
Yeah,
I like that.
And if you're looking at doing a sci-fi game, then I would assume that you want a sci-fi controller and you want to make your sci-fi landscape, in which case you might want to get the Landscape Builder and Sci-Fi ship bundle.
Yeah, so for example, the first tech demo scene we've done in Sci-Fi ship controller uses a landscape that was built with Landscape Builder. And then we used our Landscape Builder manager. Oh, I haven't shown you that, but I'm not going to. Which kind of helps you remove and clean up your scenes and get rid of all the Landscape Buildery stuff. So you could then ship a landscape with your product and not have Landscape Builder included.
So I could actually use Landscape Builder to make terrains and sell them as assets on the asset store if I wanted.
You could, but why?
There's people that do that. There's people there's people out there who will happily buy demo terrains of
maybe that's what I should do for a living. I should make landscapes.
There's a lot out there. There's a lot out there. You think I'm kidding?
I've seen quite a lot. I just didn't know people bought them. I thought people made them, but I didn't know anyone bought them.
I have actually purchased a few.
Okay, so there are people that buy them.
I needed a quick demo, and that was before your guys, when I think it was when the only things around for me to play about with was Terrain Composer and the Oh, what was it called? World
Creator,
you,
not World Creator.
you know the one I mean. The one that
I do.
It's an application in itself, nothing to do with
Yep.
Unity.
Isn't
And
it World Creator?
no, it's something else. World Machine. That's it. Thank you, chat.
World Machine.
That's
I
it.
know.
And
Oh, by the way, we can import TIFF files from World Machine.
oh, I was going to say because that's how people used to. They used to make their splat maps in World Machine, and
so
then
you can still well, not the splat maps. You can import the terrains from them.
but you don't need to. But if you wanted to, you could.
Well, I was just saying, there's lots of. I think I mentioned that we can also produce. You can also export your terrain as mesh as well from Landscape Builder if you want.
That's a question that comes up a lot. Can you export as mesh, which is important because
there you go. There's a button there.
There you go.
Export to mesh. Click this button here.
Job done.
But you'd still need to provide your own mesh shaders and all that kind of stuff. I mean, we have one that's included, but it's junk. I'm just being open and honest here. Yeah, you use someone else's mesh terrain shader.
Oh, I love it. Well, hey,
you guys should disappear. Then I can go and do something more useful. Did I say that?
I think you got one last question in chat. Is there a tutorial on making the landscape like you did in the beginning, the one from Mars? So when you imported in the
no, I
TIFF...
just dreamed it up. Oh yeah, there's one called I think it's either GeoTIFF or Real World. Yeah, there's a tutorial.
So we'll pop over to the link I posted in chat to the YouTube, and I'm assuming that there's no need to read a README or a PDF. And if you've got you've got a tutorials button built into the interface, which is always nice.
Yeah, of course.
There you go. It's a lovely tutorial.
You seem to misbelieve me when I said we're lazy.
Well,
What you mean? I had to look up. I had to type in my website and go to just like on a button that does that. I'm not sharing that part of this. Yeah, it's called Real World GeoTIFF Tutorial.
Awesome.
And of course, that'll import that's the same or not the same process, but it's the same button to import. The TIFF button or GeoTIFF to import like SRTM NASA data from for the Earth, or you can go and do DEM data, or even like we did the Martian data, the data from Mars.
And then you can smooth out all the jaggies that you might get.
Yeah, just click on
spikies. Get rid of those.
Yeah, sometimes a lot of the data you get hasn't got a high enough resolution, so you need to do something and just use a bit of smoothing.
Well, we could chat for another 3 hours and still.
But we're not going to.
Not touch a lot.
I need my coffee.
And I need to get to bed. Mate, thank you so much for coming in. I really had a great time. You've kept me awake when I would have passed out. So I appreciate that. Tanya, GeoTIFF, how do you read georeferenced terrains in Unity?
Sorry, was that a question?
Yeah.
What was the question?
It was a Sanyo needs to go to bed question as well. GeoTIFF, how do you read georeferenced terrains in Unity?
How do we do it?
Yeah, I think that's like.
Are you kidding me? Like, sorry, how many hours did you have? GeoTIFF's hugely complicated, and there's about 1,000 different versions, and we support maybe, I don't know, 100 different types or something, and there's a lot of code and a lot of testing. So do I have hey, for the money, if you need to do it, buy a landscape builder. Don't try and write it yourself.
There you go. That's the great advertisement.
Well, I'm not trying to advertise landscape builder. I'm just saying.
You should be.
We spent I reckon I spent a couple of 100 hours on that one button for
Really?
GeoTIFF. Yeah.
Oh, right.
I'm telling you, GeoTIFF is not trivial. Just go and look up the form. Just go and look up the. If you go and look at, it's why Unity don't support it. It's hugely complicated. Not many tools support it.
I love you. I'm not advertising landscape, but that's pretty much what we should be doing. If you're coming on to talking about your product, don't be shy to advertise your product, mate. Well, I'm gonna do your job for you, and because that is what sold me on it. There you go, and you grab it. It's ridiculously cheap at the moment on the asset store, so grab it before he puts the price up.
Yeah, I think we'll probably change
Exclamation mark
that.
SCSM in chat to grab our link to the asset store. Stephen, mate, I am going to get you to come back on another time when we play about with more of your things. Until then, thanks for coming on, mate. Have a wonderful day ahead of you in the future. And if you get the lottery numbers, tell me what they are so that by the time it's my time, I can actually play them.
No worries. So, yep. Okay, we'll have a chat later.
Cheers, buddy.
Thank you. See ya.
What a lovely badger. What a lovely badger. If you want to see more of my crazy videos, click on the left side of your screen now. And down below, there's that big juicy subscribe button. And right next to it is the magic bell that if you click it, it will tell you if I've got a new video coming out. Till next time.